Depression to me felt very hopeless. It felt like this impossible task to try to move past.
I would have days where it was really hard for me to find the motivation to get out of bed.
The suffering that I can describe is, I call it internal racism.
I would say it starts with that overall lack of community.
And by the time I was a sophomore, it was pretty consuming. A lot of the context for that was learning disabilities and being in a public high school that did not accommodate a lot of the disabilities that I dealt with.
There was this dread, because I was like, oh no, I'm like thinking again. Oh no, I'm feeling again. Oh no, like I'm back to where I was, not being in my own body.
I'm a person of color, of being Vietnamese. I'm also LGBTQ individual, of being queer and trans, and I also have a disability of being on the autism spectrum.
My life looked like going to school, maybe, and then getting high, definitely. And I would drink a lot of alcohol too, so it was like not a very positive lifestyle for a 15, 16, 17-year-old to be living, but that was my everyday.
I was constantly telling myself that I was worth nothing. And, I really took my learning disabilities personally. And so I would constantly be saying to myself, like, your brain is not good enough. Your person is not good enough. You are not good enough.
I felt as though I lost my gender identity, I lost my sexual orientation, and I lost my racial identity. And I was lost. I didn't know how to feel at this time.
It feels like I have no options. There's no opportunities because I'm going to feel this way no matter what I do. So if I'm going to feel this way no matter what happens, then why do anything at all? Why move forward with anything if the only thing that's going to result in is feeling sad and feeling, not even sad, just overwhelmed, feeling like nothing matters.
I do all these negative thoughts of all the things I have about myself. I'm shaming myself for my own culture. Why do I have to follow these cultural limitations? Why do I follow this conditioned mind that I've been told to follow? And when I follow them, it doesn't do me any good. And it's just this hard thing I'm still grieving about.
I keep on thinking about social media and just how being in high school, everyone had some kind of social media account, and everyone was, showing the highlights of their life in their social media account.
Because when you see a bunch of people who are your age, who you know, in a place, you're like, oh, okay, well, I want to be there because that's where people like me should be. That wasn't necessarily the case.
When I was looking at people, I wasn't seeing the people. I was seeing this worry and this sadness and this disillusionment. And when you start to look at the world through the eyes of disillusionment, there starts to be very little opportunity. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a really hard loop to get out of.
To me, chasing that false sense of community felt better than to actually look inside myself. That's too much work for a 15, 16, 17-year-old. So I just wanted to keep filling the holes.
And that's what depression felt like to me, was wanting to be anywhere except right where I was.
I would say if there was a possibility of me not having these strong emotions every day, that would be great. And the only thing that I can think of was ending my life.
I asked myself, how am I supposed to do all this? How am I supposed to live as a fake, cisgender Asian guy in this world where have to be played as a cisgender, that means I identify with my birth certificate, or being straight and all this jazz. And how can I do that? How can I actually break free, break these limitations, break this plateau of to be who I want to be, who I see myself to be since when I was a little kid at age 6. That's where mindfulness comes in.
When my guidance counselor told me like, hey, there's this mindfulness, demonstration. We're thinking about having it as a class next year. I was like, okay, whatever, like I'll miss class for a period to go do mindfulness. Like, I really have nothing to lose at this point.
And one of the first lessons that we had is like, when you feel yourself escalating, take a step back and take a breath or walk away or just take some time to yourself and be mindful. And that's something I never heard of before. I had always known I was like short-tempered and I was like an emotional person, but I never knew that there's like a thing for that. So just like learning that we can rise above those feelings, that got me to realize that I can be successful in it, and it's proven and it's healthy.
It was my first experience of self-disciplining myself, like actual self-discipline, without school and all this stuff. But I do say that throughout this time, I was feeling a positive change in my life, where I was being aware of how I was feeling and how to manipulate my conditioned mind to a new conditioned mind, where I'm actually able to break these limitations, break these plateaus, and tell myself that you're here now. Our mindset, our best friend right now is the present moment. If our mind goes to the past or the future, why not spend time with that friend? What's the point of hanging out with a friend if you're not gonna do it? It's like pulling out your phone and we're just ignoring them.
I will never forget how shocking it was to me that I could practice mindfulness anywhere, and that just having one breath and spending one moment of awareness could really change everything for me.
What mindfulness allowed me to feel and do was see the reality of the situation and see who I was really surrounding myself with and what I was really surrounding myself with. And it was far different than what my thoughts and my fears told me. And that's kind of what allowed me to feel connected and like I belonged. Was I started to see people instead of worries. What my mindfulness practice looks like now is giving myself time every day. What is something I can actively do that will fill my life with more light? And I found hiking a lot lately. I walk in nature and I breathe, and that's really when I feel clear.
And they made me things I'm so grateful for, such as I'm grateful for the earth, I'm grateful for the floor, I'm grateful for all the plants that I've seen around with me, all the food that I'm able to eat, all the knowledge that I've gained to eat what I'm eating. It just changed the way I view food and nutrition and all these things that can help myself and teach others too. I'm learning how to take care of myself, learning what things can heal me, at the same time learning how to be in the present moment when I'm eating. I just want to be with my food. That's all I want. I can eat fast, I can eat slow, depending on where I'm at, but I just want to be with my food. That's where I'm at. This is the present moment.
The knowledge that I could have a dialogue with myself, that was what was really groundbreaking for me about mindfulness, because we are not encouraged to have any kind of dialogue with ourselves. And if there is dialogue with oneself, it's always negative. So yeah, I think that was really a huge, just groundbreaking thing in my life, is like forming some self-dialogue in a way that was really respectful and kind and gentle. And so I think one of the biggest ways that my mindfulness practice manifests itself today is just like the way that I hold myself when I'm upset, or when I'm experiencing an emotion that isn't easy.
When I create or when I meditate, I am creating a space in which I'm free of judgment, free of worry, free of fear. And when you're free of that, you can be more open to your reality.
And I told myself, I'm not gonna be a victim anymore. Those limitations are not gonna drive me, drive my present, drive my future. I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm the one driving my own mindset. I'm the one that's making my present moment happen. I'm the one that's going out to lunch with my present moment.
Instead of framing your experience as like, I am depressed, instead being empowered to use the framing of like, I'm feeling some depression right now, I'm experiencing some depression right now, but it does not define who I am. It does not define my entire experience. It's defining a moment of my experience at this moment.
All that I really needed was to feel love inside of myself, was to love myself, because before you can love anyone else or accept love from anyone else, you truly do have to love yourself. And learning that and learning how to do that, it's not just as simple as, taking a breath, but it almost is. There's a lot of different steps you can take, but what it comes down to is learning that no matter what happens, you're worthy of love. And that was beautiful.